Alright, I hope everybody's doing alright and having a good day. I wanted to give you more of my thoughts on this Odroid Advance. I've got the lights out so you can see the screen better, but I've had a chance to play around with this thing a little bit, and I've also ordered a better dongle that actually works right out of the box. The Odroid dongle itself. I ordered this from Amazon. It cost about $12 shipped for me because I've got Amazon Prime. I'll link that in the description. But anyway, I'm using the Beto Sarah build that Gangster81 linked in his description of his video, and you can turn the volume up and down with this, and it actually shows you the volume. So that's one good thing about this build. I love it. I wish that it was together, but it's here and here. And if you want to exit a game, you got to press this button and this button at the same time. But that's okay. As long as I know how to do it, fine. Also, if you want to change the, like say you want to change the Game Boy's options. So you go to this list, you press this button here, and you go to Advanced Game Options. Whoop, pressed it too many times. And this is for the individual game. So you can select different emulators, the cores, the game ratios for that. And I did this for Donkey Kong because I wanted Donkey Kong, because it's enhanced for the Game Boy Color, to look like that. But how I did it was, I went to that, I pressed select and Advanced Game Options, and I changed the core, the emulator, and the core. I don't believe I changed the emulator. I think I only got one emulator, yep. But the core I changed to VBA-M. Now for all Game Boy settings, you can change that. Let's see. Is it game settings? Let's see. Per system advanced configuration. You go into that, and then you can go and select your Game Boy. And here I got Liberto and MGBA, because I don't want the pea green, I want the black and white, and that does it best for me. For all the other games that are not Game Boy Color enhanced. But you know, now that I've gotten to play around with it, I've figured a few things out, and I'm much more happy with it. Now there's a few other things that I'm not happy about, and I will tell you about those. So if I go back and I go to PlayStation, if I go to PlayStation, let's just actually start this up. And I haven't figured out how to fix this yet, but I have a problem with the controller sensitivity. Let's get out of that and just start up a game. Now this is one of my favorite games on the PlayStation. That's why I have it on here. I have the greatest hits version. And anyway, let's start this up. So we start a race, and look at that, I just pressed that once. So there's got to be some controller sensitivity fixes for that, because if I just move it just a little bit, it just goes crazy. So, and on top of that, with there only being two one set of shoulder controller buttons. This really makes a lot of PlayStation games unplayable. So I'm thinking about just removing my PlayStation games from this because of the trigger problems. Not having enough triggers, because there's games that I'd like to play that, like Need for Speed, and in those games you actually use all of the triggers. At least I do. But I keep pressing the wrong button. But other than that, playing old school games like Atari, NES, it's great. I love it. Baseball Simulator 1000, one of my favorite baseball games of all time. Boots up and plays. And it looks great. This screen looks very good. So I gotta hand it to him for the screen. Now, should you buy one of these? They're out of stock until May. The quicker way to get one is to resort to eBay. Should you buy one on eBay? That's a loaded question, because you're going to pay more money for it. But one thing is, if you're uncomfortable putting this together, and a lot of people would be, especially with the ribbon cables that you have to deal with. If you're uncomfortable putting this together, and if you could buy one from eBay for, let's say, $100, I think that might actually be a good deal for you, because after shipping, this cost me $70. So if you got one that was put together for $100 shipped, that's not a bad deal, considering you're just paying a person to put the thing together for $30. And let me tell you, I'd rather pay $30 for somebody to put this thing together and not break it on something that I paid $70 for. But that's just me. But I've seen some of them go for $150 on eBay. That may be too much, and you may just want to be a little bit more patient and wait till May for the new batch to come in. But you got to also consider, you got to put this thing together. And those ribbon cables, especially the analog stick ribbon cable, it's kind of dicey. And remember, if you watch my last video, the battery plug, the negative wire was actually torn off of this plug, and I just had to jam it in there and get it in there. So you might want to consider that too. And you need to buy an SD card. I got a 32 gigabyte SD card, and since I'm not going to be loading a lot of PlayStation games or Dreamcast games or CD based games on here, that's going to be plenty for me. May not be for you, but from what I've seen is you can get up to 256 gigabytes working well on this machine. Anyway, I hope that answers some of your questions and helped you make a decision on whether to buy this thing on eBay or wait, or whether to buy this thing at all. A lot of people would just say, hey, I want to play the originals on the original equipment, and you know what? I know exactly what you're talking about, because at the end of the day, I'd rather play my Atari 2600 games on an actual Atari 2600. It's just that simple. But if I'm out and about, if I'm at work on my lunch break or something and I want to play some Atari, this is a handy little thing to have around. So, tell me what you think. Have you got one? Are you getting one? Are you on back order? Please like, subscribe, and please comment. And I will talk to you later.